The following message is transmitted at the request of Dr. Ron Paul. It's happening. I could have saved you. I tried to warn you, but you looked away. You asked for this. You've made your bed. Why didn't you listen? You cannot stop it, it hasn't even begun. It's too late. I told you so, why did you believe them? It didn't have to end like this. It's happening. It didn't have to be like this. It's happening. You could have prevented this. It's happening. You only had to listen. It's happening. It's happening. It's over. We're trapped in the belly of this horrible machine. And the machine is bleeding to death. But you only had to listen. I could have saved you. I tried to warn you. You looked away. You asked for this. You've made your bed. Now lie in it. It didn't have to end like this. It's happening. It didn't have to be like this. It's happening. You could have prevented this. It's happening. You only had to listen. It's happening. It's happening. I could have saved you. I could have saved you. I could have saved you. Horrible machine. And the machine is bleeding to death. But you only had to listen. I tried to warn you. You looked away. You asked for this. You've made your bed. Now lie in it. It didn't have to end like this. It didn't have to be like this. You could have prevented this. It's happening. You only had to listen. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. We're trapped in the belly of this horrible machine. And the machine is bleeding to death. But you only had to listen. It's happening. I could have saved you. I tried to warn you. You looked away. You asked for this. You've made your bet. Now lie in it.
Always give your best.
It didn't have to end like this.
Never get discouraged.
It's happening.
Never be petty.
It didn't have to be like this.
Always remember,
It's happening.
others may hate
You could have prevented this.
you. Those who hate you don't win
It's happening.
unless you hate them.
You only had to listen. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
And then you destroy yourself.
So what is happening? Well, I thought it was time now, considering that for the next 2 days I won't have a show, to give you something to think about. We hear the term, the storm, and we look for weather. And then there's the factions that look into weather manipulation tools, which we've had for forever. How do you think we deal with farming? How do we keep people in check? What people need to understand is what the storm really means. And the storm is you standing together, organizing the revolutionary movement. That's what STORM stands for. Standing together, organizing the revolutionary movement. That's what STORM stands for. That is why the storm is you. Now, there is a lot going to be happening this week. It's already started this weekend, and boy, it's in pure panic mode, all of it. I dropped a lot of nuggets today, a lot of old nuggets, a lot of markers, because for anyone thinking that I just got into the game opportunistically, I wanted to demonstrate just how long I have been seeking a way to fix things. Everybody does, right? When you get into something, you get in to fix things. Whatever your motivation may be. Whatever that motivation is. Everyone starts somewhere. And so I wanted to show you how the newspapers in the past were telling you exactly everything you needed to know. When I saw what happened at the Capitol, I was like, wait a minute. This plan looks oddly familiar. But the news had told you. They put it on their front page on March 28th, 2014. Where you see Chucky giving a thumbs up, standing for the Ukraine, and they're telling you that Russia is sending troops, but all the troops you see in the picture are Chinese. This is it. It's all going to be coming down from now. It started this weekend. So today I thought we'd cover a little bit of current things, and then I'm going to really introduce you to money. Because I've said this for years now. My thing was always money and energy. There is everything in between, though, because energy requires war, game theory, psyops, and money is the product and what drives it. You're going to understand just why, a lot of people saw the Epstein thing and said, ooh, they're going after Deutsche Bank because of Epstein, and they're going after it because of Trump. Well, I also told you that I had a very long internship with DSK. And they were the investment institutional arm of Deutsche Bank. That's where the money was. That's where I was. And I interned for them for a very long time. Funny enough, the head of the Asia Pac, which I was joint to at the hip during my internship, is now in charge of clean energy in Singapore. Energy. So I'm going to take you back in time. We're going to talk about 9/11 a little bit because it all ties in. You're going to understand how this is. Remember, they banned President Trump from the internet, okay? They banned him from a global platform. That's how popular he is, and that's how dangerous someone like him is to them. Because standing together and organizing a revolutionary movement usually requires a leader. And I'm going to take you back in time to a long, long time ago, just a few years, where Owen had tweeted, and I quote, "This was a criminal act and highly reckless. It risks lethal retaliation, a new round of regional conflict. Iranian leaders would be wise to wait for the return of responsible American leadership on the global stage and to resist the urge to respond against perceived culprits." Whoa. Did we get the responsible people in? Is that the responsible people that we've been waiting for? Those of cancel culture and starting wars when they're bored or when they're hungry or when they're low on funds. Because darn, those freaking Redditors, they've taken over our market. We can't do that anymore. We're going to get caught. So what do? Well, listen to what the congressional Republicans are talking about cancel culture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, cancel culture is a dangerous phenomenon. The total silencing and erasing of people and truths the progressives dislike. Americans are beginning to see what cancel culture is really about. A recent survey found that 64% of Americans now believe cancel culture is a threat to freedom. Cancel culture aims not only to cancel certain elements of society, but to replace them. Consider the following. For years, the political left has attempted to erase parts of our American history, especially our founding and the story of 1776. Why? Because their goal is replacement. In place of America's true history, the progressives want to push the 1619 Project. This false narrative presents students with an alternate history, an alternate reality, that our nation was founded not on the principles outlined in the Declaration of Independence, but instead on a racist pursuit of expanding slavery. Canceling 1776 makes sense only in the broader context of this effort to advance a false narrative. Other areas of curriculum are being canceled in favor of critical race theory. Just last week, the Biden administration announced that it will use taxpayer funds to push critical race theory in public schools across the nation. Critical race theory is the backdoor way to teach Marxism to students and adults in this country under the guise of pushing